Hey y'all, it's Joe here, and here I'm to talk to you about the top 5 best buffs from patch 1.1.5 of Super Smash Brothers Wii U. Now, this list is made of the current details that we do know of the patch right now off of Smashboards, so if any information does turn out to be a little bit different or wrong than what we think right now, then I'm sorry about that, but hopefully the majority of the information does stay true long term. As well, I can't find much gameplay of these new updated fighters, so you will have to deal with some of their pre-buff states, which I'm sorry about, but I hope you can still enjoy. With all that said though, let's get going. Charizard, after his buffs in the past, has always been a decent fighter, and I feel like these new buffs just kind of make him more decent and maybe win a little bit more. They don't really break the fighter, and they do give him a higher chance to win any said match, but they don't really make him too OP. But as far as the buffs specifically, to begin with them, they made his fair, bear, up air, down air, and nair all have less landing lag. Some have a lot less ending lag, such as fair going down from 31 frames to 22 frames, while other ones such as nair only lost 2 frames, but it's still kind of useful enough. Other than that, fair, nair, and bear also got a slight damage buff of 1%, which really won't do way too much, but I guess it's kind of something to think about. And finally, his side B got a pretty handy new hitbox near the back of it, which allows the moves to reach even more behind the lizard, and the attack itself will kill a little bit easier. All in all, these buffs are pretty nice, but not really anything that will make him OP, just quite a bit better, which of course is kind of what we want anyways. Next, we got Greninja again with another buff. Now, this guy has lately been going through quite a few small buffs slash changes to him, and once again, he's received some of those here. As with Charizard, they won't really seem to make or break him, but of course they are pretty appreciated for the people maining Greninja. For the changes though, first off, his dash attack starts up a little bit faster and lasts a little bit longer. Now, this won't do way too much as you don't see dash attack that much already as Greninja, but I guess it could be kind of nice. Next, we see that his grab gets 3 frames faster, which is a huge buff for him, making his grab a lot more safe and a lot more usable. And finally, we have his fair and bear, reducing by 2 to 3 frames of ending lag apiece. Again, this won't really make him OP, but still some pretty nice basic buffs. Finally, I'm to the trio that for the longest time hasn't been thought to be all that great, but in this patch they all got made a lot better. The first one to talk about is Samus, as I feel her buffs weren't quite as good as the other two, but were both pretty dang substantial. Of course, with Samus, and as well a lot of other characters, we see a lot less ending lag on many of her moves such as dash attack, down smash, and all of her grabs, which is pretty nice, and Samus gets a little bit of extra damage on her nair and her forward tilt. These alone are pretty useful, but she also got 2 other buffs that seem a lot more useful. Firstly, her up smash has been buffed quite a bit, so that it'll no longer whiff when up close, so that's really nice, and it just makes the move a lot better. And I've also heard, not confirmed, that Samus's airspeed has been increased, which does allow her a lot more combos in the air and allows her a safer way to kill. Altogether, these are huge buffs for Samus, and I'm really glad that she finally got some really good changes, other than just a buff nair, which she's pretty much been getting all the patches in the past. For my next part of the trio, we got Mewtwo. Now, this guy was already buffed quite a ton in the last few patches, making him go from pretty unusable to quite strong, but in the most recent patch, he also got a buff that could kind of tip him over the edge even more, and that buff is getting his run speed increased to almost as much as Sheik's. Now, at first, this may not sound that great, but hear me out for a second. Getting a faster run speed will allow him to space better, allow him to go in easier, run away faster, camp with a lot less effort and be better with his projectile, and allow him to do a lot more grounded combos. As well, it will allow him keep up with the pace of many other high tiers, and overall it's just a really huge improvement. He also did get a few other buffs, such as having his weight increased by a value of 2, and up smash getting a bit of a change, and of course nair having a slightly bigger hitbox. These are huge changes for Mewtwo, and I can see them making him keep climbing up the tier list as he has been for the last while. Finally, for number 1, I'm gonna hop on the Zelda hype train and slap Zelda here. So with Zelda, she has almost never had any real useful buffs in the past. Most are just kind of slight damage buffs with a few exceptions such as less ending lag on a few moves, but that's about it. This has always annoyed me in the past as she's always been a kind of underdog that needs a lot of good buffs, but in this patch they finally gave her some of the power that she needed. But what did they do in this patch? Well, the main thing that they did is make her down throw a guaranteed kill throw at quite a few percents. If the opponent tries to DI one way, then you can get them with a fair or back air, while if they try to DI another way, you can get them with a free up air. Now, this is a huge bonus for Zelda, because finally she has a good way to finish off a stock, something that she's never really had in the past, and a very safe way to finish off a stock. Of course, she also did have some other buffs, such as getting her forward tilt and jab to be a bit more powerful, and they're doing a tiny bit more damage, as well as having up air have an increase in damage and a bigger hitbox, but a small nerf to the knockback of up air. In general, Zelda got huge buffs all around the board, and I'm feeling this is exactly what she needed to become a lot more usable. Now, I'm not expecting many Zeldas topping Nationals soon, but it still is really awesome to see somebody that has always deserved a big buff finally receive it. And there you go, my top 5 buffs of patch 1.1.5. Thank you all for watching, and I do hope you enjoyed the video. Now, I am sorry that I couldn't have footage of any of these new buffs, but I hope that my explanations were more than enough to kind of help you understand what changed. Tell me if you think I missed a bigger buff in the comment section below, like and subscribe as well, and I'll be seeing you all next time.